In the quiet countryside of Adams, Tennessee, the year was 1817. A place where farmland stretched to the horizon, and neighbors lived by faith, hard work, and whispered superstition. But behind the wooden fences of the Bell family farm, something unnatural stirred. What began with faint knocks and rustling shadows soon grew into a relentless force, one that spoke, one that tormented, and one that claimed a life. This is not just a ghost story. It is the tale of America's most infamous haunting, the Bell Witch. John Bell was a respected farmer, a man of faith with land and livestock. His wife Lucy, gentle and devout, raised their children in harmony. By all accounts, the Bells were prosperous, blessed with fertile fields and a sturdy homestead. Yet, beneath the calm of autumn evenings, strange disturbances crept in, soft knocking on the walls, faint scratching at the doors. At first, they dismissed it as animals or wind. But soon, the sounds grew bolder. It began with footsteps, heavy, deliberate, pacing across the porch long after the family had gone to bed. John Bell would rush outside, musket in hand, only to find the yard empty. Then came the sounds of chewing, gnawing noises along the wooden beams, as though invisible animals feasted on the house itself. But the most unsettling were the whispers. Faint, breathless voices echoing in the dark corners, words too low to understand. Lucy prayed. John grew restless. The children huddled close. Something unseen had crossed the threshold of their home. By late autumn, the disturbances spread beyond the house. In the fields, the Bells saw shadowy forms darting between the rows of corn. Their dogs growled and barked, but nothing was there. Horses shied from unseen hands pulling their bridles. One night, John swore he saw a great black creature, part dog, part rabbit, slip through the fence and vanish into the night. The land itself seemed restless, as though cursed, and yet the family kept silent. To speak of such things in a God-fearing town was to invite suspicion, or worse. The Bell's daughter, Betsy, was the first to truly suffer. She would wake with her hair tangled into knots, as if yanked by invisible hands. Bruises bloomed across her arms, though no one had touched her. At school, her books were ripped from her hands by forces no one could see. Her cries filled the nights, waking the household. John tried to comfort her, but his daughter's wide, terrified eyes told a truth no father wanted to believe. Whatever haunted the Bell farm had chosen her as prey. Then it spoke. At first, a soft murmur, like wind sighing through the rafters. Then, clearer, sharper, an old woman's voice, dripping with malice. "I am here to torment John Bell," it hissed. The family froze. Their prayers were drowned by mocking laughter that filled the cabin, echoing from floor to ceiling. No longer just a phantom of sound, this was a presence, intelligent and cruel. The Bell Witch had revealed herself, and her wrath had only begun. Night after night, the witch grew bolder. She mocked the family in shrill tones, sang hymns out of tune, and laughed at their prayers. Sometimes she whispered secrets no one should know, private conversations from neighbors, confessions from the church pews. Other times, she shrieked so loud that the cabin shook with her fury. Objects moved of their own accord. Chairs toppled, dishes shattered. Betsy screamed as unseen hands slapped her across the face, leaving red welts. The Bell Witch was not content to haunt. She wanted to humiliate. Yet in the chaos, Lucy Bell, the mother, never faltered. Known in the community as kind and devout, she prayed aloud every night. Strangely, the witch spared Lucy, even speaking kindly of her. "Sweet Lucy," the voice crooned, "the only pure soul among you." While the family trembled, Lucy's calm presence was a fragile shield. Some believed the witch respected her. Others whispered it was mockery. Still, Lucy's prayers were the only comfort in a home ruled by fear. Word of the haunting spread beyond the farm. Neighbors came, curious and skeptical, only to flee in terror. They heard the witch's voice themselves, taunting, sharp, mocking their disbelief. She would repeat their thoughts aloud, as if crawling inside their minds. Ministers, farmers, even children bore witness to her cruel tricks. One neighbor swore the witch slapped him so hard his cheek burned for days. The Bell farm was no longer just a private torment. It had become a spectacle, and the witch reveled in her growing audience. The local pastor was summoned to cleanse the Bell home. He read scripture aloud, voice trembling as the family knelt in prayer. For a moment, silence fell. Then came the laughter, long, cruel, echoing through the beams of the cabin. "Your prayers are nothing," the witch roared. The Bible was ripped from his hands and flung across the room. The pastor fled, shaken to his core. To many in Adams, this was proof. The Bell Witch was no trick of imagination. She was real, powerful, and blasphemous. Soon, the witch turned her rage on John Bell himself. She mocked his every move, cursed him with failing health. "I will see you in the grave," she hissed. John's face swelled, his tongue felt thick, his limbs stiffened with unexplained paralysis. Neighbors who visited swore they heard the witch laughing, promising his demise. For the patriarch of the Bell family, it was no longer torment, it was a death sentence whispered in the dark. The story of the Bell Witch split the community. Some said the Bells were cursed for hidden sins. Others believed Kate Batts, a bitter neighbor, had returned from the grave to make good on her vow of vengeance. Crowds gathered near the farm, hoping to hear the witch's voice for themselves. Skeptics came away pale and shaken. Believers warned that to mock the witch was to invite her wrath. What began as whispers in the dark had grown into the most infamous haunting in Tennessee, and the town could not look away. The tale of the Bell Witch reached even Nashville, where General Andrew Jackson, hero of New Orleans and future president, heard the whispers. Amused, he brought men and horses to Adams, eager to test the legend. But as their wagon approached the Bell farm, the horses froze. They strained, trembling, refusing to move forward. Then a chilling voice rang out. "Go on, General. I'll see you inside." Jackson's men turned pale. That night, the witch mocked them, rattled their tents, and slapped one soldier into the dirt. By morning, even the iron-willed Jackson declared, "I'd rather fight the British again than this witch." While the witch tormented John, her cruelty toward young Betsy only grew. Betsy was engaged to Joshua Gardner, a local suitor. Yet every time they walked together, the witch's voice shrieked from the trees, "Do not marry! I forbid it!" Betsy was slapped, her hair yanked, her cries echoing through the fields. Joshua tried to protect her, but the assaults grew unbearable. Finally, with tears and heartbreak, Betsy broke the engagement. The witch's laughter echoed over the farm. The Bell family had lost not only their peace, but their daughter's future. The witch knew things no mortal could. She spoke in distant tongues, quoted scripture, and revealed events from miles away at the very moment they happened. Travelers swore she answered questions about their families before they returned home. Ministers marveled and feared her power. To the faithful, she was a demon. To skeptics, a mystery. To the Bells, she was an all-knowing tormentor who never slept. Every secret was exposed. Every prayer mocked. The family lived in a cage of her knowledge, unable to escape. By 1819, John Bell's health was failing fast. His face was twisted, his speech slurred, his body racked by seizures. Doctors were baffled. The witch mocked his suffering daily, calling him Old Jack Bell and swearing she would kill him. She struck him with invisible blows, leaving him stumbling and gasping for breath. One Sunday morning, he collapsed while walking to church. Neighbors carried him home, but the witch's laughter followed, echoing across the fields. For John, every day was a battle with an enemy no one could touch, and every night, the Bell Witch reminded him of his approaching death. On December 19th, 1820, John Bell was found unconscious in his bed. A mysterious vial lay nearby. When the family asked the witch, she laughed. "I gave him his medicine, and he is finished." John died that very day. At his funeral, mourners gathered in sorrow, but their prayers were drowned by the witch's mocking voice, singing hymns in cruel mimicry. The town shuddered. Never before had a haunting ended in death so brazenly claimed. To the Bells, the curse was complete. After John Bell's death, the witch grew quieter. Her visits became rare, her voice less frequent. Some said her mission was complete. Others feared she lingered still, waiting. In 1821, she announced she would return in 7 years. And so she did, only briefly, mocking the Bells once more before vanishing into shadow. But her legend never left Adams. Farmers, travelers, and children grew up whispering of the Bell Witch, and some swear she roams the land even now. The fields are quiet, but when the wind howls through the hollows, locals say you can still hear her laughter in the dark. Not far from the Bell farm lies a cave along the Red River. After John's death, children dared each other to enter, whispering that the witch had made it her lair. Inside, strange winds rushed through the chambers. Stones rolled on their own. Voices echoed in the dark, calling names that were not spoken. Locals swore the witch lingered there, waiting for those foolish enough to trespass. Even today, the Bell Witch Cave is said to hold her spirit, a place where time feels suspended and shadows move without cause. As years passed, the legend of the Bell Witch spread far beyond Tennessee. Travelers wrote of the haunting. Ministers warned of demonic powers. Families told the story by firelight, shivering as if the witch herself might be listening. For skeptics, it was a tale of superstition gone wild. But for those who stood inside the Bell cabin, who heard the laughter with their own ears, there was no doubt. This was no mere ghost story. It was proof that something beyond death could reach back, cruel and mocking, to touch the living. In the generations that followed, many came to Adams seeking the witch. Some brought skepticism, others brought prayers. Some left laughing, while others fled pale and silent, never speaking of what they'd seen. Locals warned, if you come looking for the Bell Witch, do not mock her, do not challenge her, for she delights in pride and punishes disbelief. Whether curse or demon or restless soul, she waits in silence, eager for the next voice to tremble in the dark. The Bell Witch promised she would return, and though her visits grew scarce, strange things continued on the land. Footsteps where no one walked, knocks on empty doors, whispers in the wind. Some say she watches still, bound to the Bell family's bloodline. Others believe she is a warning, that human cruelty, greed, and bitterness can outlive death itself. Perhaps she is no witch at all, but the shadow of every grudge carried too long. Whatever she is, her tale endures, growing with each retelling. For the Bell Witch never truly left Adams. She waits, and she listens. And so the story of the Bell Witch remains, America's most infamous haunting. Was it truly the vengeful spirit of Kate Batts? Was it a demon cloaked in human malice? Or was it fear itself, given voice by a grieving community? The answers are lost to time. But one truth remains. Those who stood in the Bell cabin, who heard the laughter, who saw John Bell's decline, believed. And belief can be more powerful than any ghost. If you find yourself in Adams, Tennessee, listen closely as the wind rustles through the trees. Perhaps you'll hear it too, soft, mocking, unending, the laughter of the Bell Witch.